Two-time winner of the Book of the Year award in the golf industry and a professional speaker, Joel is going to give an impromptu 8 to 10 minute speech on the current state of the publishing industry and the current progress of an attention-getting book project that will be released later this year. Please welcome Joel.
Hold the timer, please. I want to be the first to have filled out Marielle's thing. During the next week, I will ski or snowboard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 10 to 3 at Deer Valley, Park City, and Canyons Resort. Excellent. So thank you, Marielle, for helping me clarify my goals. I appreciate that. Hold that timer. I'm still not ready to start. I also want to say this club is so fantastic. Here we are this dark, snowy day, and this club is twice as big as my club in Savannah, even on a down day. So many people come here. It's fantastic. All right, start the timer. Thank you. It's been more than 4 months since my last visit to this club, and I have a little bit of perspective on my absence. John Henry, you look much older than I remember.
It's been a rough year.
I'm just teasing. Actually, Craig looks much older. That's what the marriage will do for you. But I do have to say that Craig and I have been spending time together, and I hope I can do it. The sophrosity that he embodies in his extremely regimented diet is something to admire and avoid at all. Okay, I don't know when I first came into this room. It was a year or 18 months ago, but I do know I did not have a book project cooking, and now I do. And there is nothing I would rather do professionally than write and sell books. That is my raison d'etre, selling books in quantity. And I want to talk to you today about the state of the publishing industry and my small role in it. First of all, you should know publishing is dwindling away. Books, magazines, newspapers are drying up and blowing away. There are less books being published. It's harder to get a publishing contract. My career is a microcosm for the publishing industry as a whole. My books came out in 03, 05, 06, 07, 08. 5 books in 6 years. Then the bottom dropped out in the real estate market, Wall Street crashed, and I thought the curtain was falling on my writing career. Luckily, that curtain was just an intermission, and I got a book out in 2011, 2013, and now my next project due late in 2015. So 5 books in 6 years, and then 3 books in 7 years. That's the state of the game. And when I think back about how I was writing book after book after book, it's kind of like a log roller on a river, or a plate spinner, or a mother with 3 kids under 3. You just keep writing. I'm marketing one book, writing another book, planning the next book. And then the book that I'm writing, I start marketing. The book that I'm planning, I start writing, and then I start planning the next book. And that's how it was for a 6 or 8 year period before things went downhill. So there are 4 basic ways to get a book in print. The number 1 way, the traditional way, is through a traditional publisher. I have had traditional publishers in New York, Kansas City, Ann Arbor, Charleston, South Carolina. For some reason, they never hired me for a second time. That is a prestigious way to go. You get advances. Book advances go from $1,000 up to multi-millions. At my heyday, I could command mid-5-figure advances. Not bad. Not exactly Hillary Clinton or Dean Koontz or Stephen King, but it's a start. A traditional publisher gives you some prestige, publicity, fulfillment for bookstores. Back in those days, there were bookstores. Now there's just Dolly's and 3 or 4 Barnes & Nobles around the country. The second way to publish a book is self-publishing. Self-publishing can be extremely rewarding financially, but, and this is a big but, I'm talking Kim Kardashian would be envious of this but. You have to have an audience. You have to have a built-in audience to buy your self-published book. And that does not mean that you have fans or people who follow you. I'm going to explain what I mean by a built-in audience in just a moment. The other 2 types of publishing are offshoots of self-publishing. There's print on demand, POD. I think the Amazon format is called Create Space. So you can write a book on Amazon. They charge you $7 or $8 for a black and white paperback book, and then you go out and try and sell it for 12 or 14 bucks. The beauty of this format, obviously, is A, you're not printing thousands of books, and B, you print 1 or 2 or 5 at a time as you need. And the newest iteration of publishing is this concept, which is so far from what I do, but people do it. They write something for free. They put it on a Kindle format, an iPad format, hope for 10 or 20,000 downloads, and then they write something else and hope that the people who downloaded that book will buy this book for $2.99 or $4.99 or $6.99. Not how I roll. My books range in price. I've got one stocking stuffer book that was 14 bucks. All my other books are 20, 30, 40, $50 a pop. Hardcover, dust jacket books. Many of you know, most of you probably know, or as John alluded, I work in the golf space. And golf is not what it was, but it's still a viable entity to write in because A, golfers are educated, B, golfers are affluent, and C, golfers are into their game, so they buy books. George Plimpton, a name which is familiar to many of you, the great participatory journalist who died some years ago, had a great quote, "The smaller the ball, the better the writing." And what he meant was, there's never been a book worth a damn about a beach ball. There's some good books about basketball, quite a few good books about football, a lot of great baseball books, and thousands of great golf books. So that's what Plimpton was referring to, and that is the space in which I work. So here's what I mean about creating an audience, creating a niche. Once again, I'll refer to our club founder, John Henry. John, at some point in the past, said, wow, there's a lot of big houses in Park City and Deer Valley with these big panoramic windows. I will clean windows so they can see their sunsets and sunrises and mountains. He created a demand when it might not have been there. Marty, who's not here today, she sells doTERRA essential oils. Another perfect example. 5 years ago, nobody knew they needed essential oils for invigoration or relaxation or health. But Marty and her colleagues created a need and filled it. That's what I do. That's how I sell books by the thousands. I'm going to give you 2 examples. My most successful project and the project I'm working on now. In 2007, I was approached by the most famous golf course architect in the world's family. His name is Pete Dye. He is in the World Golf Hall of Fame, and the Dye family asked me to write Pete's 50-year career history. In fact, Pete has a course locally at Promontory. Is one of his courses, but Pete has many famous courses all across the Americas. So, writing the book is the easy part. Selling the book is the hard part. So, I was given this assignment by the Dye family. They asked me to run with this. So I came up with the concept of producing custom covers. So my Pete Dye book has 35 custom covers, because if you're the owner of course X, you don't want course Y on the cover of this book. So there was a generic bookstore cover. That was in the days when there were bookstores, besides Dolly's and 2 other Barnes & Nobles. But there were also 35 custom covers. And those resorts and entities bought 500 or 1,000 books each. So this thing was a smash hit on 3 continents before it ever got to Dolly's or to any Barnes & Noble. My current project is quite the thing. And I'm going to tell you more about it when I come back and speak in the summer. I'll be back in March, but the book won't be as far along then as I want to really share with you. Right now my book is 20% done. In March it should be 35, 40% done. When I get back here in July, it will be 95% done. I'm writing the first ever book in praise of charity golf tournaments, of which there are 10 to 20,000 around the country, for anything you can think of: medical, military, environmental, arts, education, underprivileged. I am choosing 75 of the most unusual events. Who started them? Why did he or she start them? Who benefits? How long has it been going on, and what are the challenges that have happened along the way? It's a fascinating study in human interest, because the most poignant chapters, as you can imagine, to write are someone who lost a loved one, to a drunk driving, to an accident, to a disease, to a spinal cord injury. But from the financial side of it, all of the tournaments that I'm featuring are buying a book for each of their players for the 2016 season. So I am already selling thousands and thousands of books with only 20% of the book done. This will extrapolate out by the end of the project to maybe 18,000 books out the door. It's a huge number of books. It will allow me in 2016, God willing, to pay my Toastmasters dues, buy next year's Epic Pass, and put a roof on the new house I'm building in town. It is always my pleasure to be here. Thank you, Toastmasters.